Did you see where Biden wants to take me to the back of the barn? Me. He wants it. I'd love that. I'd love that. Mr. Tough Guy.
I'll kick your ass.
I would like to volunteer to take this old bird out of her misery.
Come on, Cleveland. Come on. You gonna limp back. You walk over, but you're limping back. Now, don't let the gray hair fool you. I ain't no easy win.
1.2 billion. So you go ahead and you stack spaghetti sauce at a store and in a supermarket. You control the guy or the woman who brings out the carts on a forklift.
Say what?
We have this notion that somehow if you're poor, you cannot do it. Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
What?
Look, John's last-minute economic plan does nothing to tackle the number one job facing the middle class. And it happens to be, as Barack says, a three-letter word, jobs. J-O-B-S, jobs. And thank you, Dr. Pepper, and thank you, Chancellor, or Dr. Paper, and thank you, Chancellor. A man who will be the next president of the United States, Barack America. But the Taoiseach knows a lot about it. His mom lived in Long Island for 10 years or so. God rest her soul. And although your mom's still alive as your dad passed. God bless her soul. I got to get this straight. Now is the time to heed the timeless advice from Teddy Roosevelt. Speak softly and carry a big stick. End of quote. I promise you, the president has a big stick. I promise you. Look, tomorrow's Superstar Tuesday, and I want to thank you all. I tell you what, I'm rushing ahead, aren't I? 150 million people have been killed since 2007 when Bernie voted to exempt the gun manufacturers from liability.
Did you eat a lot of paint chips when you were a kid? Why?
It would put 720 million women back in the workforce. My name's Joe Biden. I'm a Democratic candidate for the United States Senate. What's not to like about Vermont in terms of the beauty of it? And what a neat town. Play the radio. Make sure the television, make sure you have the record player on at night. Think about it. We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by you know the thing. I got hairy legs that turn blonde in the sun. And the kids used to come up and reach in the pool and rub my leg down so it was straight and then watch the hair come back up again. They'd look at it. So I learned about roaches. I learned about kids jumping on my lap. And I've loved kids jumping on my lap.
No more drugs for that man.
And Corn Pop was a bad dude. And he ran a bunch of bad boys. And I did. And back in those days, to show how things have changed, one of the things you had to use, if you used pomade in your hair, you had to wear a bathing cap.
Like the time I caught the ferry over to Shelbyville, I needed a new heel for my shoe.
So I walked out with the chain. And I walked up to my car.
So I tied an onion to my belt, which was the style at the time. Now, to take the ferry cost a nickel. And in those days, nickels had pictures of bumblebees on them.
And in those days, you used to remember the straight razor. You'd bang them on the curb, get them rusty, put them in the rain barrel, get them rusty.
Now, where were we? Oh, yeah. The important thing was that I had an onion on my belt, which was the style at the time.
Just like that, spread your legs, you're going to be frisked. Drop your hands. You say that to somebody in North Dakota, they think it's a frisk. Drop your hands on your side, you know. You're in trouble, right? I'll tell you to drop your hands on your side. Know who he is. We got to let them know who we are. We choose unity over division. We choose science over fiction. We choose truth over facts. And Neil Smith, an old buddy, are you here, Neil? Neil, I miss you, man. I miss you.
Hey, I don't go in for that type of thing.
Made an endorsement.
Primary from a campaign that's about negative attacks into one about what we're for, because we cannot get reelected. We cannot win this reelection. Excuse me. We can only reelect Donald Trump.
Excuse me? A baking powder?
Excuse me. We can only reelect Donald Trump.
Yeah.